Casey Wilson, owner of Roseville Strength and Conditioning and one of your co-hosts of the Do or Do Not podcast. And this is
Brad Erie.
All right. So this is our Halloween episode. So we've been talking about doing this for a while. I used to be a paranormal investigator for two different groups, but mostly, I got started way back when, and then I stepped in and did it again.
I know. I was shocked too.
Listeners,
ever since,
yes.
Crazy.
So I always was into paranormal stuff. So when I was a kid, we had the Time Life books of ghosts, Sasquatch, aliens. Though my mom bought me those book series, like they're hard-covered books. I don't have them anymore. I wish I did. But they were amazing. And then I was one of those kids when I read every single Bigfoot book, every single ghost book, every single alien book, like not like fiction, but stuff where people said, hey, this is really happening.
I was when so we were kids, Bigfoot was like extremely popular. He was on a $6 Million Man.
Oh, yeah.
They had like these specials on TV of, we found this footprint in the northern Oregon woods of, so it was highly.
Well, there's whole reality.
Here we go. On it now. Yeah.
I paid to watch that.
Look, I watched all 15 seasons of Supernatural. So
so did I.
Consider myself a Dean brother, a Winchester, and I know all about it.
You don't even
Dean and Sam.
Winchester.
Dean and Sam. I'm their
Dean brother.
I'm their third brother, Brad Winchester. We might be the only two straight guys that watch it.
What was the angel that worked with him?
I follow him on Instagram, Misha, but it's been so long. I just watched
Castiel.
Yeah, Castiel.
See, dude, I know I'm Supernatural old. Better than you. I guarantee it.
No way.
I would smoke you in a trivia contest.
That's because I have no memory.
That's true. Anyway,
we should get the little matching tattoos.
I have a little Hot Wheel of their Supernatural card.
Oh yeah,
of the Impala. Oh
yeah.
People go, well, what if you could buy any car, what would you want? And I always go, there's the Magnum PI car.
Yeah. I'd go the Impala.
The van from 18
van. Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, that's a good one.
And the Impala from Supernatural. Those are the cars that I would want if I could have them. But that car was badass. But anyway, my daughter loved it too.
I bet they're two good-looking guys.
Oh yeah, and one of them Soldier Boy now on.
And
he's voiced a bunch of the animated Batman ones.
This whole podcast can just veer off into
we could go straight Supernatural. We're over here like Dean and Sam.
Yeah. Oh, I love them.
There's a bunch of hot chicks on there too, so we're not gay. Well, maybe Brad might be gay. I don't know. I'm not. I was always looking at.
I'm bi-curious. Okay.
But, there were a couple of handsome men. I'll give them that. And their dad was Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Can't go wrong with that either.
No, you can't.
All around badass.
But anyway, we're going to get into like real paranormal stuff, not shows that talk about werewolves and vampires and wendigos and stuff.
I think you should just let me interview because I have so many questions.
That's what you did with Ahsoka in the last episode.
I know.
All right.
I mean, the episode we did weeks ago.
Team here.
Weeks ago, and we're just wearing the same shirts just because it's been weeks and we just didn't keep this whole camera rolling.
Yeah.
All right. So you sprung this on me, I don't know, a few months ago, and it rocked my world.
What, I used to go on ghost hunts?
Yeah. There are levels to you, layers that I never would have guessed when I first met you. One, you just rocked my world that you're a Supernatural fan because I thought you would call me flaccid for loving it as much as I do.
It's one of the best shows. I cried on the last episode.
Me too.
I literally had tears coming down.
I was like, oh, they're all together now.
And if you don't know what we do, you have to watch all 15 seasons of
Sammy,
it and get down to that final episode. Final episode, I went and told my daughter because she still hasn't watched it.
Oh yeah.
She goes, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the end. I was like, you got to watch it to the end.
I still watch them if I catch them on cable.
I mean, they were on Netflix right now, aren't they still? I don't know.
All
anyway, stop going Supernatural.
I can't help it. You rock my world.
I mean, some of the stuff on there is real.
When you threw this on me. It rocked my world. Okay, so what made you turn from a fanboy of saying, I'm going to join a club? What year was that?
I think I joined American Paranormal Investigations in 2006.
And is that in Sacramento?
Yeah. It's still out there, I think. I haven't looked in a while.
Did you see them on Facebook, or like were you just
How did I?
Did you have was there a membership fee?
No.
Okay.
While I was with them, they became a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get money to buy nicer cameras and technology and stuff. I mean, we had digital recorders, we had regular cameras.
That was going to be my next question of like
handheld. What? Yeah. I mean, the technology back then was way different. Yeah. I mean, that's when I first started, and then they were great. That's where I learned a lot. I went out because I was really into Ghost Hunters. It just came out literally maybe 6 months earlier. Ghost Hunters came out. And I go, oh, that's what got me to go. I would like to do that. I think I'd be good at doing that.
That would be fun.
Because I always loved that stuff, and I was very knowledgeable. You know, I'd read a lot, you know, and stuff. And also, I have a certain level of. I'm not a psychic, but I would be called an empath. I mean, I feel.
You just dropping things. More bombs. Okay. Let's just be clear. I know.
I should not even go down this route.
This is going to be a two-parter because eventually I have to go pick up my kids in a little bit. So this will be a two-parter because I'm going to
part one.
Yeah, because there's a lot I want to unpack.
Supernatural part.
Okay. So we're going to call this part one, and this is just going to be in the beginning because you have piqued my interest. Yeah. Oh my gosh, where to go?
I don't even know if I want these.
Oh my god. Okay, so you joined this, and what was your first place that you went with this group?
The Delta King or Queen, the one in Old Town Sac.
Okay, and did you feel something? Like, how long before you actually?
I definitely sensed things when I was there, but we didn't get a lot of evidence. But what I did get was I sat in a room by myself that was supposed to be haunted.
Okay.
I didn't feel very much, to be honest. Yeah. And I was like, whatever. But I said an EVP session, electronic voice phenomena. You have a digital recorder. You turn it on and you ask questions. And usually, unless you get a disembodied voice, which is something you actually hear with your ears, then you ask these different questions. You give a pause for it to answer, or it, he, she, whatever the ghost is, and then you ask another question, and maybe you do it for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes just a couple minutes, and then you have that. Then you go back and analyze that evidence later, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing that really happened besides that ship or boat or whatever you want to call it was also used to take injured war veterans.
Ooh.
And they had them down in these big rooms, and they were being brought they'd come into the San Francisco area, and they bring them through the Delta up to Sacramento on this boat during the war, World War II, I believe. And so there was a lot of people, there were dead bodies were shipped on it, but also injured and damaged guys. That
would be a good place to go.
And so the psychics that were there, we had 2 psychics in the group at the time. Anne, who was one of the leaders, she was awesome, and she helped me kind of start developing my empathic. I always had it, but I didn't really trust it. I always thought, I don't know. She would get me to go, what are you sensing right now in this room? And I go, just tell me right what you sense, what comes out of your mouth. And I would say something, and she goes, yep, that's dead on what is in here. And I would do that because I couldn't see stuff. Only one time did I ever see a ghost.
Okay, so that's going to be my next question. Tell me.
So
2 questions
first before you get into your question.
Come on.
All right, go ahead. Hit your questions, and I'll.
I want to know the scariest you've ever been.
The most scared I've ever been.
Yep, and about the aberration that you saw. So let's talk about the scariest you've ever been. Where were you? What happened? And how scared were you?
I don't think I've ever been super scared. You know what raised the hair? As I said, I had that EVP session.
Yeah.
The next day, went back and listened to it, and I had answers.
Oh my God!
I asked questions, and I asked probably 10 questions.
Yeah.
And I got 3 answers, and I was like, the hair, like I was sitting there and you hear something talk. When you were in the room yourself and nobody else was in that room. Yeah. It was just me in a locked room on that ship, and something answered back to me.
That is pretty creepy.
All the hair on my body stood up the first time I heard it, and then I went through, and there was 3 other answers in the same tone of a voice.
Have you ever
They're
thought
probably
about
like Class B, but you could make them out real quiet. They weren't loud. They're real.
Did you ever go back and be like?
My mom got married on that. Ooh. Like remarried, like in 2014. So maybe like 8 or 9 years later.
I would have asked more questions.
It isn't a specific room, and I can't even remember which room it was.
All right, so that's a good one. Now tell me about this aberration.
Aberration? You mean apparition?
Yes. Sorry.
Aberration is like, unusual thing that happens, I think, is aberration out of the ordinary.
You're going to school me a lot, I know.
Apparition is a actual, what you would call a ghost. So I didn't go on a lot of investigations. Mm-hmm. I did help review evidence and go on a lot, but I was raising 2 kids at the time, 2 young kids, because this was right after I
can relate.
This was like a year after I separated from my ex-wife. Yeah. And I was doing most of the child rearing. So I had the kids most nights, and most investigations were on the weekends, which she was supposed to have the kids, but a lot of times I ended up with them. So it was hard to get out and do investigations. I missed some really good ones, which really bummed me out. But I did the Brookdale Lodge. Okay. And it's been featured on other shows too, like Ghost Adventures has been to Brookdale Lodge. It's in Santa Cruz Mountains. That was the weirdest night I ever went and investigated anywhere. Yeah. And you weren't the scaredest you've been when you saw a ghost? I might have peed myself. I was startled. Yeah. So I was with Ann. And I was kind of she's a really good psychic. She nailed some stuff. I trained her for a while, and she came over to my old place before I bought my house over on Jefferson Street. And she came and she goes, "You didn't tell me there were spirits everywhere down here, because this is an old area." Yeah. She goes, "Down that alleyway, there's a guy who's a murderer. And then here at the house, she started telling me stuff. And I'm like, holy crap. I need to move. There's this old lady here who walks around outside, and she's really protective of the house, and she's like a protector of you too, and your kids." And I was just like, then she started describing a guy who was close to me, which she described my dad to a T, who had died like 3 years earlier. Surprised she didn't warn you that I was coming. Well, there's going to be this balding ginger that are over on the other side. Stay away. That's being psychic, like looking into the future or whatever. That's different. All right, so you're at this place. There's different levels and different types of psychic and ability levels and stuff too. It's not just one thing. Like I can't see stuff, but she could see stuff. Here's what I saw. Okay. When I lived in that house on Jefferson Street, which is literally a hop, skip, and jump where we're sitting right now. Yeah. So the doggy doors? Uh-huh. And there's like really thick plastic over them, but you can still you can't see through them, but you can see like shadows. Or when somebody walked up, they would walk up the door and I could see that there were shadows outside. Yeah. I'd be training people in there. I'd look over and I'd see what looked like a dress go by my door. Well, no way. When I first moved in there, and I'd walk over and open up the door, and I'd walk outside and look around. I go, nobody there. And this happened at least, 12, 15 times, and then I just started ignoring it, where I would walk out and go on and trying to see, what the hell is that? And I would see somebody go past the door. It wasn't like a branch, there was nothing it could be except somebody, and it looked like somebody in a dress walking by. So she comes to the house. If that was her. She comes to the house. And it's like, were you just talking about? And she tells me there's this old woman in like an old dress with a collar all the way up to her neck, and she has this hair and stuff. And I was like, holy crap! I'm like, I see this happen. She goes, oh yeah, sorry, you just want to touch me. I did. Well, yeah, you're trying to scare me. I'm trying to come over. So she tells me about this. I go, holy crap! I've seen her walk past my doorway a bunch of times then, because I see a shadow of a dress going past this doggy door, right? And then a few weeks later, my daughter comes running out of her room and goes, Dad, there's an ugly woman in my window. And I'm like, an ugly woman? She goes, yeah, an ugly woman. Like she was just called her ugly woman. Yeah. And we go out and I look, and she goes, oh, she's not there. But she was looking at me through the window. I was like, okay, and I describe her, and she goes, kids are creepy. Like Gigi. Yeah. Like grandma, like gray hair, and stuff. And she was just looking at me. I would have burnt down the house and moved. And I said, are you scared? And she goes, No. She didn't run out screaming or anything. She just
Yeah.
ran out and said, Dad, there's an ugly woman looking in my window.
So your toddler daughter is braver than me, is what I'm hearing.
What Anne told me, and and I trust her because she was very accurate many times. She wasn't a bullshit artist or anything. She was a legit real deal. She's actually been featured on a few things.
I think we need
haunted hospitals or something.
Do you still
I don't know. I follow.
her?
I follow her on.
She should come and be
on
a
social
guest,
media and stuff.
because I'd have questions for her.
Yeah, I could still reach out and talk to her. We got along really well. I was her ground during that time, and there's so the Brookdale Lodge is a swimming pool.
Yeah,
and the rumor, apparently, there was rumors about stuff, but several females had died swimming in the pool. Like a long time before.
Well, no, the women are poor swimmers. I mean, come on.
But there was like rumors of it, right? And so you, as a paranormal investigator, you have to sometimes go.
So was that
my
the
mind
ghost that
playing
you
tricks
saw?
on me or something? So we're sitting there, and she's doing an EVP session, like the voice phenomena session, and she's asking questions, and I'm just standing there, and I have a camera around my neck, like a camera, big lens, everything, in case anything pops off. I'm supposed to snap pictures, and sometimes we would just snap pictures around places where she would sense something. Yeah, like there's something over here, and sometimes you'd see like this white ball of light or a mist or something. You get lucky and catch something, right? They have like a real famous picture in the Woodland Opera House, like this blue light that they caught, and that was one of the investigations I wasn't able to go on. I was still a member of the group at the time, which I was like,
freaking X-Wing.
That, Virginia City, and the USS Hornet, those are the ones I missed that I really wanted to go on. They're all the best haunted. Well, and Preston Castle, but we weren't going on there.
Tell me about this ghost.
So it was basically, she was here, I was here, and I'm just kind of like, I'm with her because we kind of teamed up, and like the psychics need grounds, like to keep them like grounded. I guess is what you would call it. So she was like, you're going to be my ground, like you're going to be there to support me or whatever. So I was like, all right, so I'm sitting there, she's doing an EVP session, and I'm like, look across the pool, and there's like pillars in there, and it's an empty pool. I mean, there's nothing in, no water in there or whatever. And I look across, and I see from like kind of like the waist up, maybe a little bit below the waist up. Yeah, I see like a wet looking like 18 to 22-year-old female.
Whoa!
Like just her upper body, and her hair is like dark. Everything, there's no color to it. Yeah, but it's like kind of like a gray, almost like a picture, but kind of see-through-ish too, but not real, like enough to where like you'd go, that looks like a half of a human body.
And that didn't scare you
in the dark because there's lights coming through because there's windows around. Yeah, it's enclosed, but there's windows and there's lights coming in from the outside, so it's pretty bright in there. Not like bright like you have lights on, but bright enough to where you can see stuff. Yeah, and it looked like there was just like a drip, and I was so startled because I'd never seen anything like that before. Yeah. And even before I went into paranormal, I went to haunted houses and stuff like, oh, my house is haunted. You should come check it out. And, or whatever. Or, this place is supposed to be haunted, and I would go check them out and stuff.
I like how that wasn't the scariest. I was just startled. I would have yelled.
It startled me because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah. And then I have a fucking camera around my neck. Yeah. And I don't even think about snapping a picture. I'm just sitting there going, holy fuck. That isn't in my mind. This is, I'm not saying it out loud. I'm just sitting there like stunned that I'm actually seeing this.
That's a real ghost.
That's like an apparition. I've never I've heard a lot of stuff, felt a lot of stuff, seen pictures of stuff that shouldn't have been there, but I'd never seen.
I gotta ask, was she cute? Did she have a ring on her finger?
No, you couldn't. You didn't see any of that.
Well,
you just see like an outline of her, and you see like the hair is wet, like it's down like wet. And you just see like an upper body, like that looks like it probably has some type of top, like I assumed it was a swimsuit, but you really couldn't like make out like really specific details.
I don't know if we would be able to rate her on a Jennifer.
But it was like no, I would not. But it was like she was up high enough to where it's just like she was missing the half of her body. It wasn't like she was on the ground. It was like she was up at a normal, like maybe like a 5 foot, 5'4", 5'5" tall. Yeah, and. So that wasn't the scariest thing that happened that night.
Okay, well
that place was a live wire of paranormal energy that night. It was crazy.
Why didn't you guys keep going back? I would have kept going back with cameras.
4 hours away, and you got to get permission. Back then, it was operating in open. Yeah. Then when Ghost Adventures went like 3 years after that, I think. Yeah, it was already shut down.
Okay.
There's a creek that runs through it. And it's famous for this little girl fell like in the 30s or 40s or something. I can't remember. It's been too long. Maybe in the 50s. But fell off of the ledge and fell and broke her neck and died in this creek, and you would see apparition, this little girl. There's pictures of like a light, like shaped like a little girl or whatever. But it's called the Brookdale Lodge because it has a creek that runs through the dining room.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And back then it was still operating.
Do you have any of that equipment?
The Beatles played there before they played at the Altamont Pass.
All right.
The Rolling Stones had played. All these bands were up all over the walls there. It was really cool.
All right. Before we get to the next thing, I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
How about sometime me and you, maybe Ann, I mean, our cell phones are 4K. We have listening devices. How about we do it? I'm in.
Do you watch any ghost shows? I watch every ghost show.
In the 90s, when I was like in the X-Files and I was in Supernatural,
real ghost shows. Like
I was in some of the stuff. Now,
last night I watched Ghost Adventures and Expedition.
Here's where I stand. All right, I'm neither a believer or a non-believer. I've never had any walked into the room and felt cold, other than when my wife has been giving me the cold IV death stare.
No doubt about that.
Yes. So I don't have any of those abilities. I've never seen a ghost. I've never felt being watched. I've never woken up. Nothing like that had happened. But I don't doubt people when they tell me this stuff because I'm not you.
I
believe it.
I shut down all I don't like. So when I was open during that time.
Yeah.
So I'm single, sleeping on my bed alone, right?
Yeah.
Raising kids. Sometimes they would come and crawl in bed in the middle of the night. I was opening myself up and I was meditating and I was trying to reach out and I was trying to develop my skills. And all of a sudden I started having people talking to me into my ear. It was like somebody in your ear talking to me. And it's very startling.
Yeah.
And it's unnerving.
I wouldn't say
I was like scared for my life or anything I shut myself down. I tried to close myself off to it all. I can still sense things like when I bought my house.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years after that, I'd already kind of shut myself down. I could sense like if there's something there.
Would you go back into that with me?
We looked at 9 houses that day.
Yeah.
And 2 of them I walked into, I immediately told my friend who's a total non-believer.
Yeah.
I walked in and said, somebody died here. There's a ghost here. I go, I'm not living here.
Hard pass.
And I go, and one of them was like, there's an angry ghost here.
Right.
There's like anger coming off of it.
Let me check the dates. Because I think before Halloween, actually, it's probably better to do it afterward, right?
If you want to do a 2-part to the sucker.
No, this is going to be like a 4-parter.
No.
Because I only have like 10, 12 more minutes. And I'm just getting warmed up because you keep showing me these layers. But I want to make.
I'm going to hear this shit in group class.
Oh, no, I will.
Brad's going to be like, hey, Casey,
no.
do you sense anything here? And I'm going to be like,
no,
I'm not in that mode.
I'm not going to do that.
I don't because I keep it shut down because I don't
I'm in. I want you and me to go somewhere. I want you to take me. We'll bring our phones. You can call in wherever and do it because I'm in.
There's haunted places. One of the most famous haunted places that all these paranormal places investigate is Preston Castle in Ione.
Well, let's go.
They do tour. They're probably all sold out for Halloween.
Yeah, so I'm saying let's let Halloween pass. Let's give it some time. Let's get all the little wishy-washy people. Let's get them out, and then I think we should do a couple as part of our series of this.
I'll think about it.
Come on.
I'll think about it.
I'm in. I mean, it would be nice to see someone as pale as me.
If we start getting more people watchers, that makes sense to try to.
I'm in it for me.
So maybe sometime 3 or 4 months down the road,
we'll do that. Well, we're gonna do this.
If you're able to get your stuff out, I was cutting up clips and putting them on. You did check that out on YouTube? Those little clips are getting more views than the show.
We're just going to have to make our
thing a bunch of little You got to build a base before you start going, we're going to go remotely and go somewhere.
I'm not saying this isn't for the pod. I'm saying I just want you to actually say, like, this is how we do it. We're going to go in.
The
we're going to set this
doesn't
stuff.
scare me. I've never been scratched or pushed. There was one time where I felt something touch me. So it was unusual.
See, it kills me that if I would have known all of this, I would have been like, okay, we would have talked 3 minutes about Ahsoka, and I would have dove in
about it because you're gonna like want to focus in on it. So
this is blowing my mind. That's amazing. That's amazing skills because I have nothing.
It's not even like skills. It's just like my sister and mom both sense and feel things too. My sister sees stuff sometimes.
Oh man,
it just kind of goes in your family. But here's the thing: is I shut myself down to it because I did not want.
You didn't want to see dead people.
I don't see them, but I hear them.
Yeah, I
didn't hear them. I started hearing them the more I opened myself up.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, I'd lay down to go to bed at night, and something's whispering in my ear.
I wish they would have told you like bet the Jets, or
no. See, that's the problem. That's where you're getting into stupid shit.
No, when we're actually doing the stuff that's real, like I'll drop the stupid shit.
But anyway, I grew up in a house that had a ghost in it.
See, I did. My dad was a cop.
Yeah.
He's seen some stuff, a lot of stuff he can't explain. And that was as close as he can get. He's like, I've seen stuff that like should not have happened. Can't explain it.
Let me go over real quick what really got me interested. Not that I wouldn't have been interested in ghosts anyway.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a house, and the original owners, we were the first people that we bought the house. My grandma and grandpa bought it, and my mom and dad paid them back for it. It was a whole thing, but they were basically 6 acres right next to my grandparents' ranch.
Yeah.
So they bought the house. He built it himself. He was a carpenter.
Yeah.
He built the house, and his wife died in the house. He went to a nursing home, and then we bought it. Right?
Wow. Okay.
So you always would feel like you're seeing stuff out of the corner of your eye. Like somebody's standing there, you turn, and then they were gone.
Yeah.
You'd see that, and you'd feel things in it, but you just never like.
I don't have any of that.
You never would see it strictly. But there was one night I got up and I heard the rocking chair rocking.
Yeah.
And I thought it was my mom. So I walk in the living room and I say, Mom, and it stops rocking. There's nobody in there. And I'm like, the hell? How was that rocking? Yeah. And I wasn't really, I'm young. I'm like maybe like 14, 15. I'm not like into ghosts and stuff. I mean, I've read about them. I've watched scary shows and stuff. Scary movies when I was that age. I'd seen Nightmare on Elm Street probably or something like that.
The first one scared the crap out of me.
Well, remember, there wasn't that many of them when I was that age. It was the first one I watched. There's scary stuff like that, but like a chair rocking where you see it rock. Like I'm coming around the corner, I see it rocking. I come around the corner and say, Mom, and it stops. I'm looking, there's nobody in the chair. There's no way to get out of the chair and hide from me.
Yeah.
I walked around the chair, except maybe one of my sisters was playing a trick. Nope. They're sound asleep in the room because I walked over and looked in their room. Nobody's awake. I tell my mom about it the next day. So it freaked me out.
Yeah. And you were able to go right back to sleep?
My mom goes, it's happened to me multiple times. I think you're up or one of your sisters is up in the chair rocking in it. It was Mrs. Ranta's ghost. So she had died in the house.
Yeah.
Then her husband went to, and he was kind of, needed help already. And she was taking care of him.
Yeah.
And then the family, I think their kids would come and help out a lot. But, I wasn't really knew all the story. I heard it later on in my life. But when he died in the nursing home, when he died, the haunting stopped. The rocking of the chair, the feeling like somebody was standing behind you watching you. All those things stopped because we think that when he died, she went to be with him. That's what we think.
All right, we got 5 more minutes, and I have about 3 hours. So I just want to ask 2 really quick questions, and we're going to head out. But you know what? We're going to talk again. Can you come back later tonight? No, a couple hours?
No.
Now?
I have a massage, an hour and a half massage at 5 o'clock.
All right. Well, we're doing this again next week. But I just want to know, the salt work. Can you surround yourself with salt?
There is some
supernatural.
There is salt can be a barrier. Yes.
All right. So how about iron?
See, that's all like vampire shit, But
like when they have an apparition and they swing like an iron club at it, or is it lead? It's one of those.
They're not ghosts. Aren't those apparitions are like fake apparitions?
Okay, I don't know.
There is demonic, you could say, or really angry spirits that have developed like enough power to like maybe scratch you.
Yeah.
Or like the demonic. If you're into demonic or inhuman or elemental spirits that were never human, meaning if you believe in the Bible and stuff, then they're demons. If you believe in like the element, they're called elementals. If you believe more in like witchcraft or paganism or whatever, they're powerful spirits. They're more powerful than humans.
Yeah.
And then they could possess you or cause bad things to happen. Which, that's one thing that you might be a little worried about. But actual human spirits, they might be able to push you or scratch you a little bit, but they're not going to hurt you. You don't need pipes to swing through.
Okay.
But yes, if you don't want them haunting your house and there's angry spirits that are waking you up or climbing into bed with you or, scaring you all the time, that are terrorizing your kids because kids are more open to it.
Yeah.
It scares them and then they're not sleeping. And then there's stuff like that. Or, demonic, then salt around you can't just put it around your front door. You got to put it around your property, can keep stuff out. Or create a barrier to keep stuff out.
All right, supernatural.
But you have to do it all the time. Keep doing it because, rain comes, those things.
The next 2 podcasts are going to be this because I got so many more questions. No. I'm totally in.
All right, so that was
this is going to be the Do or Do Not podcast, supernatural.
Or are we trying to get all these podcasts done before Halloween?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
I'll find time next week.
All right.
All right, that's it for today. My gosh, you open
episode
up this
one.
box.
Episode 1 of the Halloween podcast.
Oh yes, 2's coming, and we're out because I got more questions.